Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 4 of our franchise simulation in NHL 25 with the Vålerenga Dragons. Should be called the Sleeping Dragons because we are right on the cusp of being perennial cup contenders. If you haven't kept up with the series so far, don't worry, I've got you covered. I will post the links to each of the videos down below in the description so you can catch up if you want. All you really need to know about last episode is we moved on from supposed franchise centerman Gavin McKenna and acquired a bona fide franchise centerman in Connor Bedard who was going to carry us to the promised land. But enough blabbing for the intro today. Let's get right into the action. And we are back. Man, it feels good to be back. Let's do a quick recap of last season. As you can see, we had a phenomenal regular season. 51, 28, and 3. That was good for third in the NHL. Both the Leafs and the Avalanche had fantastic seasons above us. But we finally fixed our goaltending and defense. We are no longer among the worst teams in that category. Thank God. Go figure, the teams that finished 1, 2, 3 in goals against per game also finished 1, 2, 3 in the league. Who would have thought? It's like not allowing goals is a good thing. 3.28 goals for per game puts us, in the top 10. That number could certainly be higher. Bedard and Kyle Connor just seem to click. Bedard finishes with 86 points. I expect that number to be much higher this season for us. But like I say, the real improvement came on the back end. Alexander Nikishin was phenomenal for us. I think we signed him for like $2 million. He's a 91 overall. Yeah, he's got one more season at 2.575 for us. Probably the best contract in the NHL. Put up 64 points. Landon DuPont, franchise potential. He's going to be our stud offensive defenseman that we've been looking for. 32 points as an 18-year-old defenseman, just turned 19, up to a 90 overall already. And in net, we've got both Wallstedt and Casa, who are both absolute studs. I'm pretty sure we got to make a decision on one of them this season, though. Yeah, Casa will be a free agent, and so will Wallstedt. So we do have to make a big decision in net here. Hopefully, they're both restricted free agents so I can qualify and trade one. But I think it's become abundantly clear that Wallstedt is the guy that we're going to go with. The Leafs won the cup. I know, it's crazy. In 5 games over the Minnesota Wild, the team that knocked us out of the playoffs, unfortunately, in the conference finals. We pushed it to 7 games. Probably would have matched up better against the Leafs than they did, to be honest. Unfortunately, Kuzmenko was our kryptonite. He was just lights out. We didn't really have any guys truly excel in the playoffs. We had guys hover near a point per game, but nobody really took the reins, unfortunately. I almost forgot we had that very fun fourth line of Ovechkin, Crosby, and... Oh, Crosby must have retired. Ovechkin didn't retire, though, so he's coming back. He's sitting on our fourth line for sure. Anyways, let's jump ahead to the entry draft. I don't know if there's anyone that we're really targeting this year. Yeah, it's not a crazy strong draft class. I think we're finally past a lot of the creative players in the custom roster, and now we're going to be getting into the low draft class quality and low prospect quality. So scouting's going to be of paramount importance here. Let's take a look to see if our scouts have found any gems, actually. Okay, Alexander Afinogenov. He's projected to go right around 100, and it looks like he's going to be a medium elite defenseman. We're definitely going to pin him. This Marshall guy says bottom 6, but it's grayed out, so he could be an elite. More likely he's a top 6. And then Larry Mille, like the cooking appliances, Mille. We'll add him to the watch list. Let's see if there's any goalies that we need to keep an eye out for. This might be a draft where we finally don't take any goalies. I think we are more than set at that position in the organization. Yeah, let's jump ahead to the draft and see what's what. Nashville is going to win the draft lottery and go from 3 to 1. Chicago goes from 7 to 2. Take a look at the retired players real quick. I think Crosby did Wait, Crosby hasn't retired? If Crosby's just a free agent, we're definitely bringing him back. Panarin retires 1 game short of 1,000. For some reason, I just hate seeing that. It bothers me when everyone else is in 4 digits around him. Maybe it's just me. And Jonathan Quick calling it a career as well. But most importantly, Leafs legend Michael Hutchinson calling it a career. Hall of Fame, well-deserved round of applause for Michael Hutchinson. All right, let's jump into the entry draft and see if we have a pick even. So we know we need a pick around 50th overall and a couple around 100th overall. That's just to grab the guys that our scouts have as gems. So we don't have a first or a second, but we have 3 thirds and 2 fourths. Let's see if we can make some magic here and move these two for a pick right around 40. So how about 130 and 81 for 40? Does that go through? No, not quite. All right, let's try it for 51st overall then. No, so we'll throw that 6th in next year and get this done. There we go. We should be able to get all the guys that we have as gems now. 51. Yeah, okay, we should be good. Okay, let's simulate to our pick at 51 and grab the guy that our scouts... I hope that wasn't it. And unfortunately, we needed a pick about 5 spots earlier. Winnipeg steals Mille from us. 6'5", 204 pounds, top 6 medium potential, already 65 overall. That kid's gonna grow pretty well. There's not a lot available for us. We might have to take the goalie here, honestly. Matthew Calder, elite medium potential, a fitting name because if he does develop, he's gonna be a finalist for that Calder in no time. Yeah, there's not much out here, guys. We're gonna have to take him just for the trade value alone. Medium elite, 48 overall. He's gonna have to take some big steps in order to make the NHL one day. Worst case scenario, we can use him as a trade chip though. Let's jump to our next pick at 78. Might be a little early. We might still want to trade down just a bit. Both these guys are projected to go right around 100. So yeah, let's trade down and get a little bit more draft capital for the future. We're going to try and move 78 and 109 in exchange for 99th overall. So we will have pick, I believe it's 97 and 98, and then a future 5th and a future 4th. That one's not going to go through. I don't mind throwing in another 6 from next year. Let's push this thing across. Deal is done. So we should be able to get both of our guys that our scouts have as gems now. Let's jump ahead to 97 and grab the first one. Marshall, Jared Marshall from the Battalion. Welcome aboard, my friend. A grinder at 52 overall, top 6 medium. Look at those skating stats. 71, 71, 71, and a 66 for balance. I know he's young, but good Lord, is that awful. All right, let's hope that the next pick is a little bit better than that. Let's welcome Alexander Afinogenov to the team. Medium elite potential, 49 overall, two-way defender. You know what? Again, the stats are nothing great early on, but there's tons of room for growth at medium elite potential. We're gonna leave him unsigned in Russia for at least those 3 seasons and see what happens. And those are the only draft picks that we're gonna make. Let's sim to the off season and see what we've got in terms of contracts to clean up here. Okay, down the middle, we've got Bedard, Thompson, Lambert, and then we've got to make a decision on Marco Rossi. We do still have Sid signed for 1 more year at 6.9. That is nice. We'll see what Marco Rossi wants, but it might be a guy that we look at moving now. I really don't want to pay him 3.6 million. I know that's crazy to say, but for him to be a third line player on this team, I think he holds more value in a trade. Let's qualify him at 2.8. If he accepts that, I don't hate it. It'll only be for a season and we can still trade him. Otherwise, we've got Bedard, Thompson, Lambert, and Crosby. That's pretty good down the middle. And then we've still got the guys on the cusp of breaking through, guys that we either have to make a decision on now or just let cook in the minors for 1 more season. But a guy like Stramel, we signed long-term at 2.3. He should probably make his way in, even if it's on the wing. Claude Giroux, we are not bringing back unless you want league minimum. Okay, you know what? We'll bring him back. That's fine. Let's take a look at the wing now. Turcotte, he did take a little bit of a jump. Ovechkin's a UFA, does not want to come back. How much money do you want? You want 2 years? You know what? Has he hit the 1,000 goal mark in his career? Let's see. Very, very close. 938. Do we think he can get there if we sign him for 2 years? I'm going to bring him back just for fun. I'm going to stick him on the second power play unit. Honestly, 1.55. I don't care. I'm going to sign him. We're bringing him back. Boucher, top 6 medium. You know what? 25 years old. Let's let him walk. Same with Hertel. Preston took a big jump. We acquired this guy from the Penguins. I can't believe he didn't win the Calder last season. This was his 18-year-old season, by the way. He had 57 points in 82 games, 24 goals, and 33 assists. Already up to an 87. Medium elite potential. This kid's going to be a mainstay with Bedard. Joe Aginla is finally ready to be signed. What a season he had in the WHL. 107 points in 69 games. 19 years old, up to a 75 overall. He is a sniper. That shot accuracy has to get better, but let's sign him, put him in the AHL next season. The crazy thing is we still have 32 million in cap space. I know we've got to sign the goalies, but there's not many big ticket names here that are going to cost a lot. We can still make a splash in free agency this year. Willander's going to be expensive, 86 overall, top 4, high potential at 23 years old. We do have to bring him back, see how much money he wants. That's not bad. He wants 3 years. I want to try and get a little bit more if we're walking him to UFA. Let's go 6 years. How much is that going to cost? We're going to try and get a little creative with it here and go 6 years at 6.5 a season with a full no trade clause that kicks in year 4. See what he says to that. We got to bring Silyev back as well. He doesn't want to resign. That's interesting. Good thing he's an RFA and doesn't have a choice. He's asking for stupid money in order to come back. We're going to qualify him and let him sit a little bit. We'll get that deal done eventually. Now, when it comes to the goalies, we have got a ton of work to do. Look at all these goalies in the system. It's absolutely nuts. Look at all the elite. Let's make some tough decisions here. Casa and Wallstedt. I think we're taking Wallstedt as our goalie of the future. How much money does he want? 6.8. He deserves it. How much is Casa? Let's see for comparison's sake. 5.7. We could bring them them both back, honestly, for the year. We have the cap space to do it and just have an elite tandem again. And if we sign them for multiple seasons, then we can just trade them one of them at the draft next year. So you know what? I think we're going to do it. Give them exactly what they want, and we'll see if they both accept. We'll probably move on from Ulf Karlsson. He's kind of just wasting away in the minors, being a third-string goalie at 21 years old, medium elite potential. Still holds a little bit of trade value. Might as well capitalize on that while we can. But before we do that, let's simulate a day and see who accepts there. Okay, Wallstedt's coming back. Same with Ovechkin. The hunt for 1,000 goals is on. Costa's coming back. Same with Willander. Still about 16 million in cap space. So I am going to simulate to free agency and see what we're looking at. We have made it to free agency. Let's see who is... Adam Fox is the highest overall free agent available. He wants 15.9 for 7 years, but that's nothing compared to Jason Robertson asking for nearly $18 million. What the hell is going on with these salaries? I guess the cap's over 100 mil now, but still. Fantilli as an RFA. Okay, I wonder if there's anything we can do to convince him to come here. Should we offer a trade here? He only wants 8.8. He'll be our second line center. Bedard's only making 8 as well. Let me see if there's something we can do here. So Tage Thompson has been a great soldier for us, but I think it might be time to move on with 1 year left on his deal at 7.1. Not that it's a bad contract, but I don't want to sign him once it's up, especially if I can get Adam Fantilli at 8 million. So what we're going to do is send Thompson, Ulf Karlsson, and Costa to Columbus in exchange for Fantilli and their lowest overall goalie to make it work. Value looks about even. Let's see if it goes through. Nope, not off the bat. Okay, let's see what we have to add here. Unsigned defensive prospect Pettinger, maybe. Does that push it through? Still no. Okay. Does adding a second to this get it done? Let's find out. No. All right, enough messing around. Let's throw a first round pick in there. Does that make it go through? No, we might not be able to get Fantilli here. All right, we've zeroed in on another target here. McCamey from the Kings. He's a 19-year-old at 87 overall with medium elite potential. He's a two-way forward, but his stats are pretty damn even across the board. Those puck skills are absolutely incredible, especially when you combine him with his superstar abilities. I think he would be a perfect second line center on this team. I don't think Thompson for him straight up goes through, even with their interest. So let's add Ulf Karlsson and see if that, but ooh, they've got interest in him as well. That should push this across. We might even be able to get something in addition here. Try and also grab a 4th and a 7th round pick. That's not going to go through. How about just the 4th? No. Okay. Maybe we can get just the 7th then. And that one does go through. Okay. We have got our second line center. Tage Thompson on the expiring deal has been sent to the Kings. Who knows? Maybe we sign him in free agency next year. And I want to do something crazy. So let's send Costa out the door right now and clear up some cap space. We're going to ask for a 1st and a 2nd from Minnesota next season. No, it doesn't go through. Let's see what picks we can throw in to convince them. Maybe a 3rd. Does that do it? So Costa and a 3rd for a 1st and 2nd next year. We cleared some cap space there as well. 26 million in cap space. Can we give Adam Fox a 1-year deal and convince him to join this team for a Stanley Cup? Even if we offer him a max contract at $20.6 million, he doesn't even have full contract interest in coming here. And I don't blame him because I know he wants years, but man, oh man. Does the clause affect that at all? No, not really. Okay. We'll give him that full NMC, see if that convinces him. I don't think it's going to get done, but who knows? And I see that Andrew Crystal's a UFA here at 23 years old. He's still got top 6 medium potential at 80 overall. We might as well take a run at him. He wants 1.2 for 2 years. That's good depth scoring. Let's advance a couple days and see if Foxy accepts. He's unfortunately gone to Colorado. I mean, I don't blame you, dude. That is crazy. Crystal accepts our offer, and now I'm going to round out the roster and jump to the preseason, guys. Now, before we get to the preseason, I'm looking at the draft capital for this season. We've actually got a fair amount, and again, the prospect and draft quality are going to be low, so maybe we sign an offer sheet here. We seem to be 1 forward short in that top 6 of being truly elite up there. 1 more 90 plus overall would be very helpful. We've got Shane Wright sitting here looking for a contract. I don't know. Do we make an offer sheet here? 58 points with Seattle last season. I don't know if he's the guy. Thing is, he's still medium elite, 24 years old, 89 overall. I don't know. I don't think so. It'll only cost us a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, which sounds like a lot, but in this draft class quality, it really isn't that much. We also have to spend money because we still have 26 million in cap space, and we've still got Siliev sitting there who needs a contract. So let's get him done quickly. He wants 3 years at 5.1. Let's try and get a little bit of a bargain and go 4.75 for 3 years. That does walk him right to free agency, but whatever. All right, so he's accepted. He is coming back. So we have 22 million in cap space still. I think we still need to go big game hunting here. Okay, so I see this this Yanni Lorakainen sitting on Chicago. And I know he's going to be playing with Gavin McKenna. He's already a 90 overall, elite medium potential, but his trade value isn't crazy. It might have something to do with the fact that he's making $11.6 million for the next 5 years, but his numbers are pretty good on that horrible Chicago team. I think we're going to zero in on this guy as our target. We just drafted a Finneganov. He's medium elite potential, 49 overall. He still has a ton of time to grow. We're going to throw in a first round pick, and I think this gets it done. Not quite. Okay, so they're going to say no. What do we have to throw in here? Does Edmonton's third push this over the edge? No, not quite. How about 2/3? No. Okay, so it's not going to get it done. What else can we throw in? We got a ton of goalies. You need goalies? We just drafted Calder, but we could throw him in that deal as well. They're still going to say no. Okay. How about if we add a second? This might be getting into overpayment territory, especially when you factor in Lorakainen's salary. Okay, we got to sweeten the value a touch. Let's throw in that 7th. All right, the deal is done. We got our final player in that top 6. We should be very well rounded here right now. So now, without further ado, it's time to jump to the preseason and let's see what we're looking at here. All right, it is a new era for this team. We've got Connor Bedard rocking the captain on this team. Lorakainen, the newest addition, is going to be wearing an A, as well as 19-year-old Landon Dupont. Take a look at our lines here. We have got, if it'll ever load, Preston Bedard and Connor, followed by Olesen, McCamey, and Lorakainen on that second line. Stankoven, Crosby, and Dylan Holloway on the third line. Turcotte, Wozniak, and Strammel on the fourth. I was wondering where Ovechkin was. I took a look. He has been sent down. He's gone down to a 79 overall, so he's going to be our AHL top line player there, making 1.5. It's a nice retirement deal for him, but he is not going to hit 1,000 goals because we are not putting him in that lineup. On the blue line, we've got Nikishin and Dupont on the top line. That is going to be disgusting. They're also getting a +3 chemistry bump. Silyev and Willander taking a +1. Finally, we've got Broberg and Schneider as your third pair. And in net, we've got Wallstedt up to an 88 with a ton of superstar abilities now, and then Dag as his backup. Starter, high potential, 21 years old, 83 overall. There's still a ton of room for a kid like this to grow. For some reason, Desnoyers and Lambert are both scratched. I think we're going to fix that and put Lambert in on that third line instead of Crosby. We're also going to throw Desnoyers in on that fourth line, playing alongside 2 power forwards there. Let's see what happens. As for our AHL lines, it would be nice to get Crystal and Tranko up playing with the big club, especially Tranko. He's already up to an 83. He's got to come up. I think one more season in the AHL for him. He's still only 20 years old. Puck skills look incredible already, though. You know what? Yeah, let's give him one more season to marinate down there. Other than that, we've got Ovechkin and Giroux sitting on that top line with Joshua. Rancic Nygaard is a guy that really needs to take a step soon. I think we're going to lose him to bust territory any minute now. Let's bump him up into the top 6 and see what happens. The coach really hates Henry Muse for some reason. He's still got low elite potential. He's a 77 at 22 years old, and he's always relegated to the third pair. We also need to sign a defenseman because right now, centerman Nolan Burke is playing with him on that third pair. They're getting a -2. We got to fix that. And in net, we've got Bottinger, elite medium, go figure, and Dmitriev, elite medium. Should see some growth in net this season down there as well. So I'm just going to sign a couple depth players for the AHL, and then I will jump to the regular season. Okay, our first game of the season is against the Stanley Cup champion Toronto Maple Leafs. Still hilarious to say out loud. Let's simulate and see how we fare in game 1 with this new look team. It is tied at 1 after 2. Third period. Ooh, we're going to OT, and we take game 1. Brad Lambert with the overtime winning goal. Who scored the first one? McCamey in his debut with the team. Wallstedt turns aside 27 of 28. Great performance by the boys in the first game of the season. Is that a good omen? We shall see. Now I'm going to simulate about 20 games or so in and see how we are looking. Mixed results so far. It seems it's either a shutout for us or we lose every game by 2. Through 20 games, though, the team sits at 12-7-1. Decent enough record atop the division. Kyle Connor's putting up 24 points so far to lead the team. He's having a great season. Nikishin is fantastic. Nearly point per game again. Bedard would like to see those numbers just a little bit higher. Everyone else is performing just as well as they should be, maybe with the exception of Landon Dupont. Still, if Dupont can put up 50-60 points while Nikishin's putting up about 80-90, that's more than adequate. And in net, Wallstedt has been absolutely terrific. I think we bet on the right guy. Dag is a 1-5 record, though. It looks like our favorite castaway, Gavin McKenna, has finally hit his stride on that Blackhawks team. Point per game through 19 games. He's finally the player that we thought he would be. That's good for Chicago, but we don't care. All right, the only troubling thing so far is our backup goaltender. I don't know if we need to address that yet. I'm going to sim to about the 41 game mark halfway through the season and see what the numbers look like then, make any decisions we need to there. We're also going to try and get ahead of this Nikishin extension. I'm going to try and go 7 years. He wants 12.3. Let's see if we can get at least 500 grand off of that. We'll give him a full modified no trade, 12 team no trade list for the duration of the contract. See if that goes through. It does. He accepts our offer, so he's going to be with his team for a long time. After seeing what Fox asked for in the open market, there's no reason we should let a guy go to free agency if that's all it's going to cost to get it done. Plus, we signed him for the sweetheart deal of 2.5 for the last couple seasons. It's only fair that we finally pay the man, right? Nothing else that I really need to get ahead of. Nothing too pressing, it looks like. Okay, halfway through the season now. The boys are still producing at a great clip. We are first in the division at 24, 14, and 3. That's 51 points. Sixth in the NHL, though. Boston's having an incredible season. Who do they have on that team? Goal scoring still sits about middle of the pack, which I'm surprised at, honestly. I thought we'd be a little bit higher than that. Goals against were also right around 10th. Again, I thought we'd be a little bit better, but 2.8 against per game is still great. Our power play has finally been solved. Carolina's at 34.8%, which is just insanity. Even Edmonton at 28.4 is still nuts. We're sitting third at 22.6, which is still a great clip, but those other two teams are just absolutely firing right now. Buffalo's penalty kill is fantastic in the first half of the season. 91.7% is stupid. Again, we're right around 10th at 84. Connor Bedard is now leading the team in scoring. He's over a point per game, 22 goals. Okay, so he's on pace for about last year's totals anyways. Nikishin's still hovering around point per game, which is fantastic. Need Preston to start contributing a little bit more. Again, he's still only 20 years old, but dude had such a great 19-year-old season. Laura Kainen's been a great fit, same as McCamey. Looks like our third line is the one that's having the toughest time getting going right now. That's Holloway, Stankoven, and Lambert. It's kind of surprising that there's such a high minus rating, all of them. But that looks like our one line that isn't clicking right now. Everything else is at least decent enough. Desnoyers having a tough season. Wallstedt, 21-7-2, a 916 and a 250. Despite Dag's struggles this year, I don't think we need to make a move for a backup goalie. Obviously, once we get to the playoffs, it's going to be Wallstedt's show to run with regardless. Landon DuPont on pace for not quite as strong a season as last year. But again, at 19 years old, I'm not overly concerned. He's already up to a 91, so he has gone up still this year, averaging almost 25 and a half minutes of ice time per game. So Broberg and Schneider both have 1 year left on their contract, I believe, which is nice because we have Elofsson, Aitchison, and Muse ready to jump into the NHL at any point there. They're all performing decently well in the AHL. Ransig Nygaard's actually leading the team in points. I said we needed a big year from him, and he listened. Giroux and Ovechkin there. Ovechkin's got 15 goals in 40 games in the AHL. Sorry, Ovi, I didn't mean to send you down, but pretty balanced scoring attack for the AHL. Everyone's actually having a very good season. We should have a good development year here. How are the goalies doing? Okay, our AHL team is absolutely fantastic. Bottinger's 21-9-3 with a 916 and a 229, and Dmitriev is 6-0-1 with a 936 save percentage and a 1.66 goals against average. Let us jump ahead to the trade deadline and see where this team sits, see if there's any pressing moves that we need or want to make. All right, trade deadline progress report. We are still first in the division, 82 points in 63 games. Fourth in the NHL now, only 6 behind Boston. So we've closed the gap a little bit. Bedard still humming along around a point per game. Same as Nikishin. Kyle Connor still rock solid as always. Laura Kainen's been a great fit. I know he's making 11.6 or whatever it is. I don't mind it. If he can hang around a point per game, that's well worth it, as we see the salaries are going up like crazy in free agency right now. Plus, we've also got some steals on the team that make that a lot more palatable. For example, Olsen making 4.2 is pretty crazy. And Landon DuPont has started to pick it up significantly. 30 points now in 63 games. He's only 2 off matching last year's total, so he should have a much better offensive output towards the end of the season. Jesper Wallstedt, we made the right decision. We chose the right guy in net, folks. 48 games. He's 34-11-2. He's got 6 shutouts in those 48 games and a sparkling 923 save percentage to go along with the 231 goals against. Let's take a look around the league, see what's happening. So he's played 6 less games than Swayman and has the same amount of wins. He might be a Vezina candidate this year. McKinnon's already up to 99 points on the season. That is so stupid. He and Rantanen are just running away with the scoring lead. Look at that. They both have over 40 goals as well. McKinnon's almost at 50 at the trade deadline. I want to see the defensemen, see if they're both in the Fox at 53. Where's Makar? There he is at 49. I forgot that Makar went to Vegas. That's right. He was a free agent last season. Oh, no wonder Colorado signed Fox. Okay, that makes a lot more sense now. How about Nikishin? Second in defenseman scoring, though. Let's jump into the trade deadline here and see. We're going to be buyers for sure. We got to get aggressive. Everything is on the table here, folks. Everything is on the table. Really, the only spot that we look to bolster here right now is our third line and maybe a backup goalie. But again, I don't think we need to worry about the backup backup goalie. No point in giving up an asset for that. Team's humming along just fine. We're going to get into a good playoff spot regardless. Is it time for a reunion with Tage Thompson? We could also just straight up go for Alexis Lafreniere. So the Rangers would be willing to move Lafreniere to us. He's got 1 year left, and then he's a UFA. The rental price, though, is 2 firsts and Desnoyers. Oh, boy. That is steep. He probably actually takes a spot on that second line because then Ollison moves down to the third. I don't know. He's a 90 overall. He's a playmaker. I think we might do this and try and get him signed. Call me crazy, folks. We're going all in. We're pushing our chips in. You got to take risks in order to be successful. Welcome aboard, Alexis Lafreniere. Desnoyers was kind of wasting away on our fourth line anyways, so I don't hate that trade at all. We'll see what Lafreniere wants in terms of a contract extension. If it makes sense, we might even bring him back. So he's not interested in an extension at this point in time. Cost about $12 million to bring him back. We're going to try and get creative with it. We'll try $11 million a season for 6 years. See if he accepts that. He'll get back to us shortly. We're going to see. We're starting to get a lot of double-digit players in terms of salary, but we can always move on from most of these guys. That's why we're giving them modified, no movement deals. Obviously, once Kyle Connor's contract runs out, we'll be in a much better spot. He's still got 3 years left at 10. That might be a tough one that we have to revisit in the offseason. Maybe ask him to waive. He's still producing, though, so that's not an issue that we need to worry ourselves with right now. And there you have the post-trade deadline lines. Lafreniere, Bedard, and Preston getting a +5 on that first line. They should really start to just be absolute killers out there. Laurikainen, McCamey, and Connor getting a +1. That's a phenomenal second line. Ollison, Holloway, and now Stankoven on that third line. And despite trading away Desnoyers, I forgot we also had Turcotte in the wings as well. So we've got Turcotte, Wozniak, and Stramel getting a +1 there. Defense stays the same. Nikishin and DuPont both at a 91, getting a +3 is nuts. All right, we're going to simulate the final stretch run here before the playoffs. Give you guys a little breakdown once we get to the end of the season. See who our first round opponent's going to be. Alexis Lafreniere has accepted our contract. Okay, so this might put us in a little bit of a cap crunch for next year. I've also got guys like Schneider and who's the other one coming off the books. I think we're going to be okay. This team hardly lost down the stretch. We finished with 111 points, obviously leading the division far and away. 53, 24, and 5 record. Was that good enough for first in the league? Third, we finished 4 points behind the Leafs. That Leafs team is just absolutely crazy. 3.72 goals for per game. 2.5 goals against. We got to be first. We are. So we are the best defensive team in the league. That Carolina power play finished the season at 30.9%, 31%. And the Buffalo Sabres finished with a penalty kill above 90%. That is remarkable. Our special teams were both top 5 in the league, though, so we love to see that. We are humming along at the right time. Connor Bedard is going to lead our team with 85 points. How did Lafreniere do once coming over? Let's see if he was worth it. He was point per game. Well worth it. That's all we can ask of him. Laurikainen in his first season with us, 34 goals, 33 assists. I love that. He's still only 22, so he's going to get better. Preston, a solid second season, 62 points. He took a little bit of a jump in terms of point production. Not as much as we were hoping for. Nikishin was obviously great, 65 points. Landon DuPont finishes the season with 40. I don't mind that at all. He's up to a 91, like we said earlier. And how about Alex Turcotte? Dude, this guy needs to play more. He sneaks into the lineup on the 4th line, by the way, and only plays 19 games on the season after the trade deadline. He still puts up 13 points and a +10 rating in 7 minutes and 52 seconds of ice time per game. This dude is so efficient. Look at these stats. Okay, never mind. Last year, he wasn't that good. But the year before, he did something very similar. 15 points in 23 games while averaging only 947. So yeah, this guy makes the most of his ice time. Wallstat was still just absolutely terrific. Look at these numbers. 61 games, 43, 15, and 2. 8 shutouts. A 922 save percentage and 2.28 goals against average. Dag actually rebounded a little bit, got his record above 500. Not if you include overtime losses, but 10, 9, and 3. A 910 and a 270 is not bad at all. Let's take a look around the league. McKinnon leads the NHL with 123 points. McDavid had a very strong finish to the season. Looks like they tied actually in goals. No, David Pastrnak leads the way with 64. Wow, what a season. He must be single-handedly carrying Boston right now. Evan Bouchard has 97 points to lead the way amongst defensemen. Nikishin finishes in the top 10 though. Look at that. And I do do think it's going to be Wallstedt getting the Vezina. There's no way he gets robbed, right? The only guy might go to Devin Levi. It should be Wallstedt, though. I'm going to die on that hill. It should be Wallstedt with these numbers. I almost forgot. We got to check in on everyone's favorite castaway, Gavin McKenna. Let's see how he performed this year for Chicago. 69 points. That is nice. That's actually okay. So is that a bump from last year? It is. Okay, so he is steadily improving. That Chicago team is obviously still terrible. We strategically stole his line mate in Lorakainen, but the numbers are steadily getting better for him. So the regular season is done. It's time to see who we are going to get in the first round. It's going to be the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, before we jump into the simulation here, let's check how the AHL team performed this year. So Thomas Trenko leads the team in points with 66. And again, the AHL scoring was incredibly balanced. Everyone that we needed to did perform pretty well, though. Brandsick Nygaard, it looks like he got scratched at some point. 62 games, 55 points. Why did you scratch him? This team was... Look at these plus ratings. Was nobody a minus on this team? Nobody was a minus on this team. I can't wait to see these goalie numbers because they're... How many games did they lose? 55, 21, and 6 for this team. Goalies were both spectacular, so we've got a lot of positive things happen even in the minors this year. It is a great year for going for it and a great year for prospect development. This organization is clicking on all cylinders. So let's keep that momentum rolling and keep it going in the playoffs. Good vibes only. We've got Vegas in the first round. Come on, boys. First period, we go down 1. Alex Holtz. Second period, we tied up, though. Bedard gets a goal on Hill. Let's see what happens. We do take it in overtime. Preston with the goal. All right, so that's a good start. Let's go. Keep that momentum rolling as we head into game 2 here. Scoreless after 1. Vegas goes up 3-0 after 2 and take game 2 5-2. That one hurts. I really don't want to be out in the first round after going all in and acquiring Lafreniere, giving up 2 first-round picks. So let's have a big bounce back here in game 3. Up 1-0 after 1. Up 2-1 after 2. There's Lafreniere contributing. And we're tied going into overtime here. Vegas takes game 3. This is interesting. Let's see if we can turn the tides in game 4. We need a big bounce back. This is getting scary now. Vegas up 1-0. 3-0 after 2. And I'm thinking this is not going to be pretty. We drop game 4 and are down 3-1 in the first round. Oh, boys, this is a disaster. This is an absolute disaster. Does this team have a miracle comeback in the weights here? Let's see. Game 5, need a big performance out of the gates. Jump up 1-0, Kyle Connor. And we are trailing 4-2 heading into the third period. Wallstedt absolutely crumbling right now. Do we have a big third period answer? It's not looking good. Stankoven gets us on the board. We are now only down 1 with about 13 minutes left. Does this team have it in them to push this? Lorakainen scores. We tied the game. Vegas goes right back on the power play, though. This is going to be... Oh, boy. Oh, boy. We're on the power play now. Dude, there's so much firepower on this team. All right, once it gets down to 5 minutes, we got to jump in and watch. Exactly 5 minutes left in this game. We're going to jump in and watch go CPU versus CPU. And we are going to hope that this team has it in them to either win this in regulation with 5 minutes left or push it to OT and take it. Oh, almost a huge turnover there. Big hit. Big hit. Come on, boys. Step up. There you go. Nikishin. Stankoven with a brutal turnover. This could be it. Big save by Wallstedt there. Holtz walking in. Huge save, Wallstedt again. Ollison's going to carry it through the middle. He scores! Oh, baby, we needed that. Ollison just rips it through Aiden Hill. He probably should have stopped that, but we don't care. We take ugly ones. We take them any way they come here. Just rips it from the top of the circle right through Aiden Hill. We've got 3 minutes left here. We'll see if the boys can hang on. Oh, Vegas's coach is furious, trying to rally the boys up for a big comeback. We just need to lock this down, play some good defense. There's Aatu Ratu, former Vålerenga Dragons legend. All right, boys, just nothing risky. Nothing risky. Get there. Don't let Cale Makar shoot whatever you do. Don't let Hannafin shoot from there. Oh, my God. I think that puck was in. The craziest things happen when you watch CPU versus CPU games, boys. Look at this. I mean, we let Hannafin have a wide open rip from the point. Let's take a look at this puck's journey towards the net. Okay, yeah. Willander with the veteran play shoves Aatu Ratu into the goalie, knocks the net off. Puck hits him right in the chest. It's about to go in, but Aatu Ratu gets a face full of crossbar and knocks the net off. Gonna take it with him up the ice, it looks like. He's taking it back. We managed to hold him off the board still, and we've got 2:24 left. All right, this is just a push it to game 6, by the way. We've still got a lot of work to do to come back in the series if we manage to hang on here. That's big. We're gonna get it into their zone. Just keep the puck there. How about Bedard with a shot here, maybe? Ooh. Okay, this is where it starts to get scary because they're probably gonna look to pull their goalie any second now. Makar, big save, Wallstedt. He's gonna play it out like a psychopath. Uh-oh. Cover that one, please. All right. Okay, that second line is our shutdown line. Really, they are fantastic defensively. Two great two-way forwards out there. Let's see if they can hold them off. Nikishin's going to carry it through to Laura Kainen. Bad turnover at the blue line. Uh-oh. They've got numbers going the other way. They're probably pulling the goalie here. Hold stop. No. 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 Wallstedt gives up a monstrosity of a rebound to Jack Eichel, who puts a no-look backhander on from, oh my god, that angle is crazy. And we've squandered the lead with under a minute left. Oh, I don't like this at all. I don't like this at all. Our third line is out there against their first. This is a mismatch I really don't like, especially these guys are fresh now too. And they've got Makar out there. I hate this. Eichel scores. That's crazy. He gets a hat trick in this elimination game against us. Oh my goodness. They just let him go right to the net. Oh no. We're officially cooked. We lost in the first round. The first round. Oh, this is a disaster. We went all in. Gotta make some tough decisions here. I'm gonna have to ask Kyle Connor to waive his no trade, I think. This is really, really bad. This is really bad. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This is not looking pretty. This is not looking pretty. Big block. Maybe a miracle if they get it up. No, we're done. We're done. Eliminated in the first round by the Vegas Golden Knights. I think the coach is on the hot seat now, boys. He can't inspire enough to get the boys to hold on with under a minute left. We got to look at a new coach. I'm not taking any heat on this one. 5 games. We don't even put up a fight. I got to see what the stats are like here. Bedard with 6 points. He did everything he could. Everything he could. Lafreniere was solid as well. So, honestly, not bad for most of the boys. All the big boys did kind of show up. Do I dare look at Wallstedt's numbers, though? I think he was awful. Yep. A 900 and a 328. That's nowhere near good enough. That's terrible. This dude's probably going to win the Vezina, and he just turns into a pumpkin in the playoffs. So there's no consolation here, but if there was anything that this team could maybe hang their hat on, it's that they lost to the eventual Stanley Cup winners. Vegas gets another Stanley Cup. They beat the Philadelphia Flyers, LOL, in 7 games. Double LOL. That's just a super disappointing season. Let's see how good Jack Eichel was, because I'm assuming he's the guy that carried them. So Makar led the team in points, but Eichel had 13 goals in 25 games. Morgan Geekie for Philadelphia was incredible. 26 points in 27 games. 11 goals. Aiden Hill and Sammy Arison were both spectacular. Casa was great for Minnesota. How was his regular season? Just average, really. But he was spectacular in the playoffs. He almost got his team to a Stanley Cup final, which is more than Wallstedt can say. All right, let's get to end of season and some housekeeping. Maybe look at a new coach in the offseason. This is going to be a 2-season video, so there is still one more season that we've got to simulate, but we've also got some very tough decisions to make in this offseason. All right, we are back. Unfortunately, my cat has just destroyed my microphone cover. So if it sounds a little worse, then you can blame Peanut. But we got to move on and head to the offseason. The Islanders are going to move up from 7-1. The Kings from 5-2. Let's take a look at what our scouts have found this season. Oh, guess what? The first overall pick's a gem. Who would have thought? Scouts are really earning their keep right now. Okay, so there are a few gems that our scouts have uncovered. We're going to go ahead and mark each one of these. Whoa! Michael Valabic, projected to go 234th, is low elite. All right, so we're adding all these guys regardless, but we need to make sure that we get him. We're not going to add Chucko. Call me crazy. I have a feeling Edward Chucko is going to be off the board by the time we pick. Take a look just to see if there are any goalies that have maybe franchise. Nope. Nothing like that. Actually, a really bad year for goalies in the draft. It starts to get really grim, it looks like. So thankfully, we've acquired a ton of depth at that position in the organization already. Take a look at the retired players. Did Crosby finally call it quits? He did. Same with Ovechkin. These two legends and Giroux go into the Hall of Fame, obviously as Vålerenga Dragons members. That's what they're most known for. This is actually a crazy retirement class. Look at all, oh my God. Look at the names here. We're slowly going to start to lose use guys that we recognize, and it's going to become a faceless simulation at some point here. Flower and Bobrovsky headline the goalie retirements this season as well. Gibson retires at 35. Damn. Same with Binner. Okay, let's pop into the entry draft and see what picks we need to acquire. I know we need a 7th. Outside of that, we need a pick around 80, another pick around 85, and then a pick around 100. Yeah, I think we're good to pick here. All right, let's see who the first overall is going to be. It's going to be Chucko. Edward Chucko. What a great name. 82 overall, medium elite potential, playmaker. Yep, he's got good stats. I mean, he'll be a solid player. So we've got 61 here. We're going to trade down and acquire just a couple more later picks in future drafts. That way we can use those as trade chips as well. It's the smart and responsible thing to do, so let's just do it. We're going to try 61 for 81 and then a 6th and a 7th. They're not going to go for it, so we'll take out the 7th and the trade goes through. So we're going to make a simple swap here. We're going to trade pick 90, 94, and 160 in this year's draft to the Flyers for 98th in this year's draft, and then a future 3rd and a future 5th. All right, we've got all the picks we need. Let's go acquire some players. First off, we're going to take Robert Sundqvist, a center. It's unknown what his potential is, but let's find out now. Medium elite. Oh, we got a gem here. Our scouts have earned their keep big time this season. 62 overall, medium elite potential. He's a playmaking center. He's going to stay unsigned and in Sweden for a couple seasons at least, but that is a phenomenal value pick. Next up is Paul Stokes. Let's take him and see what he projects to be. Top 4 low offensive defenseman. Okay, so it's not great value, but it's decent. 60 overall, top 4 low. Yeah, I mean, we'll stick him in the minors. Now with pick 98, we're going to grab Liam Ragnarsson. Great name, out of Sweden. Left wing sniper. It looks like might be a top 6. He is top 6 medium. Going to be starting at a 58 overall though. So again, another guy who's going to need some time to fully develop. Only played 11 minutes per game in Sweden. I expect that to go up big time. And finally, with pick number 220 in the draft, we're going to take Michael Valabic here. Low elite at 51 overall with a 7th round pick. You can't complain, especially when draft quality is turned down to low. We take low elites all day. There's always an outside chance that these guys could develop. When they're starting as low as 51, it's usually the odds are against you, of course, as they should be for a 7th round pick. But hey, Dustin Wolf was the 4th last pick in the draft, so you never know, right? Very happy with that draft. Our scouts certainly earned their keep, especially our Swedish scouts. Our Nordic scouts are doing incredible right now. Okay, with the draft out of the way, let's take a look. Okay, we got to re-sign some coaches. Let's just get that done real quick. You guys don't need to see that. So most of our core is locked up. Landon DuPont's going to be up for a new contract next year, which is going to be very expensive. We got to keep that in mind. But the rest of these guys, they're all double digits, but Bedard at 8 is such a godsend right now. We got 4 more years of Bedard at 8. That is crazy. That was worth Gavin McKenna alone. Kyle Connor's only got 2 years left at 10 million a season. We do have to replace him, but I think we'll be able to, no problem. Worst case, Lafreniere just slides into that spot. Preston also needs a new contract next season. He will be very pricey too. Dylan Holloway needs a contract. Is he going to be a guy that we can afford to bring back? What you want? 3.6 for 2 years? Yeah, you're an 87 overall. You know what? Done. Not even going to fight with you on that. Come back. I probably could have signed him for a little bit cheaper. I do not care. I love that contract. And McCamey also needs a new contract next season. He was decent as our second line center. Would have liked to see a few more points, especially with these stat ratings. The guy's unbelievable. How did he not put up more points? We'll see how he does this year. We can always qualify him and trade him if need be. I'm hoping it doesn't come to that. So Broberg and Schneider, we are going to let walk, I believe. Yeah, Broberg, we're not giving you $7 million a season. No, thank you. Schneider wants 5.5. Luxury we can't afford on the 3rd pair now. We've got guys that we can call up. And for some reason, Alex Turcotte wants to come back to this team. If I was him, I would not, only because we seem to keep just yo-yoing him around. But we're going to take the depth. We're going to bring him back at whatever he wants. It's under $1 million. That's fine. Now, Joshua Waugh, I'd like for him to be in the lineup this season. I'm hoping we can make that work. Let's go 1.2 for a season. Brandon Nygaard is concerning. He might be approaching bust territory. Not that we have high expectations or need him to pan out. We'll bring him back, though, just in case he develops a little bit here. Get some of these AHL guys done. I'm going to take care of some of these contracts and skip ahead to free agency so you guys can see what we're looking at. Before we even hit free agency, we do have a logjam of forwards on this team. We're going to have to clear some space for some guys that we want to force into the lineup. One of those casualties is going to be Logan Stankoven. He just isn't quite cutting it as a 3rd line player for us. He didn't have a bad season offensively, putting up 47 points, but at $5.5 million, it's just not a luxury we can afford right now. Red Wings have interest, so we're going to try and pick up a couple of prospects here. One elite low who they just drafted, who will play in the AHL for us this season if we can acquire him. He's a sniper. And the other is a top 4 medium defenseman, 6'5", 227 right-handed defensive defenseman. Always good to have a plenty of those in the system. Does this trade trade go through? It doesn't. We got to add a little bit here. I'm willing to throw in a 6th round pick. Incredibly valuable, and it does get the deal done. All right, so replenishing the cupboards as we go, clearing and making space for some of these guys to force their way into the NHL, get a little bit more playing time. Keep in mind, we are still without a 1st round pick this year, but I'm not overly concerned about that. I think I'm going to force Henry Muse into the NHL lineup this year. At low elite still, he's really got to take a jump soon, and what better way to do that than to force him to play 3rd pair in the NHL? It's sink or swim time, kid. We also have Axel Elofsson that we can throw into the lineup. Top 4 medium potential, 21 years old, 82 overall, 95 offensive awareness for the kid. He's even got 90 D awareness. Next up here, we're going to send one of our elite goaltending prospects in Gunderson along with a 4th round pick to Nashville in exchange for 2 elite low overall prospects. Going to roll the dice a little bit here. We got to get a goalie contract back or else Nashville would have too many goalies, and then a 4th and a 7th round pick, and it goes through. So despite trading away a lot of these elite goalies, look at what we're still left in the system with here. Dag has actually jumped from starter high to medium elite, which is fantastic to see. He's going to be backing up Wallstedt this year. Bottinger went from a 71 overall to a 78 based on his numbers last season. He was lights out in the AHL. Dmitriev's still going to be his backup. We're going to force him in there. He's up from like a 61 to a 68, which is also great to see. All these guys with elite medium potential is fantastic. Evan Bouchard takes home the Norris. Seth Jarvis, the lady being. Calder goes to a Valentini on Buffalo. Conn Smythe goes to Cale Makar. Wallstedt does indeed take home the Vezina for us. He also gets the Jennings. Mukamadulin takes home the Masterton. Calgary's coach for back-to-back years gets the Jack Adams. Selke goes to Barkov. It's 3 in a row, and that is appropriate. Rantanen gets the Ted Lindsay. He was lights out. And finally, the Rocket goes to Pasternak. So we freed up a little bit of cap space, but we're not going to be too active in free agency. There's not a lot of holes that we need to fill, honestly, at the NHL level. I'm just going to round out the AHL roster, and we will sim to the preseason. See you guys there in a second. Okay, we've got some important decisions to make before the season starts here. We've got Kyle Connor Bedard, and Laura Kynan taking a +1 chemistry-wise on that top line. That should be fantastic. Then we've got Holloway, Trenko, and Olesen on the 3rd line getting a +2. Trenko between those two guys in his 1st season. I'm excited to see what he does. Finally, we've got Turcotte Coots. I don't know if you guys remember Coots. We took him in our 1st episode. He was one of our 1st draft picks, 36th overall in the 2nd round, 2025. It looks like he's progressed pretty well. That shot power, both in the 90s, is crazy. He's going to be our 4th line center, 2-way forward, top 6 medium potential, already at 82. And Joshua Waugh is finally going to crack the lineup. He's going to ride coattails on right wing on that 4th line. Then on defense, we've still got Nikishin and DuPont taking a +4 on that top unit. That's crazy. Elofsson and Wallinder taking a +2 on the 2nd. And finally, Siliev and Muse. We've given Muse a fantastic defensive partner to play with. I know he's a 77 overall, but we need a big jump from him this year. In net, we've got Wallstedt and Dag. Wallstedt's up to a 90. Dag's now got that elite medium potential, so that should be good to see what he does this season. But if you take a look at our scratches, we've got Stramel, Wozniak, and Lambert. I think we're going to have to sell all 3 of these guys just for picks. Just going to sell them off to the best picks, which is the Dallas Stars with 2/3. Wozniak's up next. We're going to sell him to the highest bidder as well. Might be 2/3 again, honestly. We're actually going to take this Jacques Ouellet from Buffalo along with a 4th round pick, see what the prospect develops into. We're actually going to sell off Turcotte here and let him have a full-time job somewhere else. I know he's had stints where he's looked incredible, but I can't bring myself to trade Stramel. So there you have it. Officially, this is the lineup that we're going into the season with, folks. Nothing changed on the back end there. And then, of course, we've still got the same 2 goalies in net. Now, if we take a look at the AHL lineup, I think I'm actually going to move Branson Nygaard as well. We've also got a lot of low elite guys that we'd like to squeak into the lineup, so let's try and make some moves here. I know they're low overalls, but they got to play at some point. We're going to send Branson Nygaard along with a couple other contracts out to Minnesota for a 2nd, a 3rd, and a 4th, and it goes through. That's not a bad return. So we've now forced all the low elite and medium top 6 guys into the AHL lineup. We can take a look at our lineup right there. Atchison's a guy that might be called up as early as next season. And finally, we got Bottinger as our starter in the AHL, who should have another very solid season with Dmitriev backing him up. Both medium elite, expecting a ton of growth for Dmitriev at least. If Bottinger jumps up a couple, then we can have the discussion on who is our backup between him and Dag. But let's skip the preseason and get you guys to the regular season. season here. Okay, we've arrived at the first game of the regular season against the Edmonton Oilers. Let's take a look at how this team fares against them. Scoreless after 1. Is McDavid going to take over this game? No, 1-1 after 2. And finally, we score 2 in the third to take the first game of the season, 3-1. Trenko with his first ever NHL goal takes down McDavid and the Oilers. We're actually going to jump ahead to about the trade deadline and see where this team is, only because I don't really have a ton of cap space to do much during the season. All right, so purely from a wins-loss standpoint, this team is having a great regular season. Unfortunately, 2 teams in our divisions are having much better seasons. Vancouver and Edmonton are absolutely on one right now. We have 82 points at 38, 20, and 6, and we're still in third place in the division. Pacific is a wild ride this year. Just to give you perspective, 3rd in our division, yet 4th in the entire NHL. And all 5 teams in the top 5 are Western Conference team. West is on top this year. We are scoring at a very impressive 4.06 goals per game. That is unheard of. Unfortunately, our goals against is very high. We are 9th in the NHL at 3.22 goals against per game. I'm not sure if that's Wallstedt, but man, we got to clean that up. Edmonton on top in terms of power play, 31.7%. They're 8% clear of the next highest team. Detroit at 87% on the penalty kill. Where are we? Ooh, we are just at 80%. Not good, boys. Bedard having a fantastic season. 73 points in 64 games. Everyone else, super solid. Dude, Laura Kainen's got 34 goals. Our scoring is incredibly balanced this season. Landon, Dupont, and Nikishin both scoring at nearly a point per game is fantastic. Nikishin's already got 20 goals at the trade deadline. Even Henry Muse having a good rookie season. 7 goals, 8 assists as our 3rd pairing defenseman. I don't hate that at all. Now let's see what the goalies are doing, because that's the area of concern, I believe. Yeah, that's not good at all. The wins-loss is great for Wallstedt, but the other stats are atrocious. Same thing for Dag. God, both goalies under a 900. What the hell is going on? Let's take a look at what's going on around the league. Casa is leading the league in wins. Of course he is. He's having a fantastic season. McKinnon on top right now with 84 points in 62 games. Matthews with 49 goals leads the way. Gavin McKenna, everyone's favorite cast-off, only 45 points in 62 games at a 90 overall. Still franchise medium though. I would, however, say that 208 points in 301 games. I know the expectations are crazy, but that would be considered a disappointment. We got a couple defensemen now in the top 10 for scoring. Obviously, their plus minus is crazy as well, but it's the usual suspects on top right now. And our AHL team actually has been fantastic. 38, 18, and 6. Let's take a look at the point distribution. Crystal and Aginla both having fantastic seasons. We love to see that. Lincoln Weimer, that's a low elite player, I'm pretty sure it is. Scoring at a good clip. 45 points in 62 games. That's decent. We should have some nice development on some of the big guys. A lot of the low elite guys who are like 50 overall, I'm not expecting much from, and it reflects in their stats. They're not doing too hot. At least they're getting into some games though. Bottinger has been fantastic. Dmitriev's taken a step back this year, but that's not the end of the world. And I think this is going to be the first trade deadline where we don't do anything. I'm going to jump to the end of the season because I'm pretty happy with the way this roster is constructed, and we're going to take our chances in the playoffs again. We're going to try and get ahead of Landon Dupont's contract expiration here and offer him 8 years at 10.25 a season with a full no move in year 7 and 8, because I don't think there's any chance we ever move him. He's going to think about that, but I think he'll accept it. That should be a great value contract going forward. We will have to make some other tough moves this off season. There's a lot of cap space we got to clear because there are some big names coming up for new contracts. But the boys have a very strong end to the season. 50, 25, and 7. Good for 107 points on the year. And of course, good for 3rd in the division because the other 2 teams had phenomenal years as well. And it still holds true. 3rd in the division gets us 4th place in the NHL. Only the Oilers scored at a higher clip than us. They actually maintained over a 4-goal pace over the entire season, which is nuts. We were just shy at 3.98, still a good showing. And we were middle of the pack in goals against per game at 3.11. So goaltending got a little bit better, but not by much, unfortunately. Bedard is going to lead this team in scoring with 84 points. Steady as she goes. Oh my goodness. I think McCamey needs a new contract after this season. Of course he does, because he had a phenomenal year. That's going to be a very expensive re-sign. 81 points. I mean, I'm happy. I want all our guys to do well, but maybe not everyone needs to have their best season season in a contract year. Nikishin was incredible on the blue line. Hopefully Landon DuPont accepts that contract because he is going to put up some points. Olsen was even amazing. 30 goals. Wow. We on the third line. I know we got Holloway for a good contract, but I mean, 28 points for 3.6 million is a luxury I can't afford. He might be a guy we have to trade in the offseason if he doesn't have the playoffs of his life. Henry Muse, as a rookie defenseman, scores 14 goals and only 14 minutes of ice time a game. That's a phenomenal rookie season. Wallstedt finally got his save percentage up above 900, if not barely at a 903. Goals against just shy of 3. You better have a big playoffs, my brother. Dag as his backup, not a good season at all. Just horrible numbers. And Joe Iginla has a 79-point season in the AHL. We had a lot of guys that we needed to produce, and they certainly did not disappoint. Expecting a ton of growth from some of these low elites. Bottinger, a phenomenal season. Okay, so the future's still very bright in net. That's not one thing that we need to worry about. Bottinger is going to be the guy at some point. There's no question. 43, 19, and 3 with a 922 and a 212. And finally, it doesn't happen often for some weird reason, but Connor McDavid is on top of the league in scoring with 119 points. Matthews is going to lead in goals with 65. Nikishin actually has an outside chance at winning the Norris this year. That plus 27 rating should help a lot. Adam Fox was wild at plus 41. And in net, Carolina has a teenager. This kid is, oh my God, he's a kid. 41 wins with a 318 and a 903. Wow. So Carolina just outscored all their problems, huh? There's Casa sitting right beside Wallstedt, just trolling us with the slightly better numbers. Landon DuPont has accepted our offer. That is a phenomenal contract for us. Getting him at under 10.5 for 8 years is massive for the program going forward. What's not massive is the fact that we have the Edmonton Oilers in round 1. Let's see how this one goes. Game 1, period 1, 2-2 after 1. Lorikainen and Preston for us. Mikheyev and Bertuzzi for them. Of course, it's 2 former Leafs. It has to be. Bedard and McCamey, though, in the second period for us, we're up 4-2. Let's not blow this. We do not. Willander for us, McDavid for them. We take game 1, 5-3. Game 2, period 1. We go up 1-0 on a goal from Stromel. Period 2, they answer with 2 of their own, and we drop game 2, 2-1. At least we took the split in their barn, I guess. Let's head home and take these 2 wins. Game 3, massive game for us. Let's see if we can take 2-1 them after 1. It's Zach Hyman and Matt Savoie. Trenko for us after 2. Still find ourselves down 1. It's 3-2. Holloway for us. Tage Thompson for them. Oh, we are just being haunted in every sense of the word. Let's see what happens in the third period here. Still down 3-2. Need a spark. Someone's got to get one, right? Less than 15 remaining now. We go on the power play. Doesn't look like we're going to get anything. Under 7 now. Guys, it's crunch time. You got to do something. Pull the goalie, maybe. Nothing. Edmonton gets the empty netter. It's Zach Hyman. This team, they're becoming perennial chokers. So we're down 2-1 going into game 4. This is still on home ice. We need a big response. Period number 1. We go up 1-0. Landon DuPont scores. After 2, we're up 2-0. Bedard gets the next one. So the big boys are showing up. And we take game 4, 3-0. Game 5's going back to Edmonton. Come on, boys. Let's take the swing game here. Put the pressure on them. 3-1 after 1. Waugh, Bedard with 2, and McDavid gets the 1 for them. After 2, Hyman answers back, and it is 3-2 going into the third period here. Let's simulate through and see what happens in the third. Edmonton goes in the power play. Can we kill it off? We can't. Vasilevsky scores, of course. And Draisaitl gets one right after. What is going on, boy? We tie it back up, though. McCamey. Okay, the simulation's going crazy right now. 5 minutes, we jump in. Bedard versus McDavid. What a matchup here. Bedard versus McDavid is crazy. They got Tage Thompson on that team, too. This would just add insult to injury if they eliminate us. Lorikainen's going to carry it through. Gets pushed off by Tage Thompson. Great play by Landon DuPont to push him off. Oh, bad turnover to McDavid. Wrong guy, boys. Landon DuPont, unreal D. Uh-oh, he's wide open in front. No, Bouchard. Oh, what a save. Zach Hyman's going to carry it in around to Mikheyev. All these former Leafs, dude. Wallstedt with the big save. Yeah, we've got under a minute remaining. We got to try and hopefully get something. No, not Kerfoot. They got Kerfoot too? Dude, this is crazy. I know Edmonton loves their former Leafs, but come on. Be great if we got the puck out of our end and he trips on the boards. Bertuzzi, oh my goodness. Wallstedt just standing on his head right now. Olsen, oh my goodness. Emil Vinny with the big save. Oh, bad turnover to the wrong guy. Not to McDavid, to Thompson. What a save by Wallstedt. Standing on his head. Absolutely standing on his head. I don't care what the stats say. He's stopped 3 or 4 sure goals in this little time that we've been watching. 2 seconds, eat the clock. There we go. We are heading to overtime. We've got overtime. Thank God it's 5-on-5 and not 3-on-3 with McDavid out there. Just don't let one of our former guys or a former Leaf end it. That's all I ask. Uh-oh, Draisaitl. Oh, back to Bush, to Tage Thompson. No, Draisaitl. Dude, Wallstedt is playing out of his mind. My God, every time we get into the neutral zone, it's a turnover. Not to McDavid. Oh my God, what a save by Wallstedt again. Kyle Connor clears the puck. He's going to go up to Lorikainen, who does nothing with it. Unless, hang on, Lafreniere. Yeah, baby, let's go. Alexei Lafreniere clutches up in overtime for us. We survive the Edmonton onslaught. Jesper Wallstedt, first star. I don't care what the stats say. First star, absolutely stood on his head and gave us a chance there. Lafreniere comes up clutch in overtime. We may not have deserved it, but we take the all-important swing game and we push Edmonton to within 1 of elimination. Up 3-2. Let's jump into game 6 here. Period number 1 is going to yield a 1-1 tie. Siliev for us. Go figure. Probably the least likely candidate to score for this team. Period 2 is going to be 2-1 us. Preston gets the goal. Let's start to jump ahead in period 3 here. Draisaitl scores. Unfortunately here, we're going to get a power play. Doesn't look like we did anything with it. Let's jump in. Under 5 remaining. We are tied at 2 with the chance to eliminate Edmonton here. McDavid's going to back off the defense. I hate this. Big save off the deflection by Wallstedt. Down low to Kyle Connor. To Lorikainen. Spinning backhand is an interesting choice from there, but you do you. Up to McCamey. Back to Nikishin. Oh, he's... What a save. Turnover. Preston carries it in. Preston in the... I don't know how it went in, but it did. Mathis Preston, he needs a new contract, and he's coming up clutch right now. Let's see. It hits off the glove, off his pad, off the post, and then in. They don't ask how, they just ask how many, and we've now got 3 to their 2. 38 seconds to close out the Oilers in the first round. Do not F this up, boys. Solid lockdown defense. Bedard's gonna get the puck into the empty net. Game over. Let's go. We close out the Edmonton Oilers in 6 games. Great series for the boys. Let's keep that momentum rolling in series 2 against... Is that the President's Trophy winning Vancouver Canucks? I think it is. Let's see what game 1's got in store against the Canucks. I probably should check out their lineup. I will do that after this game. Period 1 is done. That gives us a 1-0 lead. It's Lorikainen who is having a phenomenal playoffs. I was trying to remember if he needs a contract too, but he is signed long-term. We're okay there. Period 2, and we are up 4-2. Lorikainen again, and then Olesen with 2 as well. Likermaki and DeBrusk for them. Let's head to period 3 and see what happens. We take game 1, 4-2. Let's take a quick look at Vancouver's roster. I forgot to do it with Edmonton, but let's see what they're working with. Tolvanen, Pettersson, DeBrusk, Texier, Banak, Likermaki, Dvorak, Geeky, Sharangovich, Joshua, Boisvert, and Brink. Not a crazy forward group. What does their defense look like? Obviously, Quinn Hughes, Hronik, Dursey, Morrow, Ball, and Trouba. That's not great. And it's not even Demko, it's Fowler and Shilovs. So, I mean, we should take this. Game 2 of the conference semifinals. Let's see what it's got in store. Vancouver's still at home, and they lead 2-1 after the first period. It's Likermaki and Dvorak for them, Olesen for us. After 40, we tie it up. Landon Dupont with the lone goal. Let's see what happens here in the third period. McCamey scores, and they score right back. Texier answers, and it's 3-3. We've got under 10 left. You know the rules. We jump in at 5 minutes to watch what happens. Let's go. All right, let's see if we can take them down here. For some reason, the glitch is back on. We're wearing the All-Star jerseys, and we took a penalty. So this is not good. Lorikainen takes a charging penalty. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Oh my God, not only is that a charge, but that's an elbow to the face. It's crazy. Gotta be smart when we take chances here, killing a penalty. Lafreniere down low. Just get through these 2 minutes, boys, and take our chances in overtime, hopefully. Siliev, the big defenseman, clearing the way in front. He is a monster on the PK. Clears it up to McCamey. McCamey's gonna carry it in. Poked off by Quinn Hughes. Uh-oh. Boisvert going the other way. Oh, he's got a step on Siliev. This sucks. It does suck. It does suck. Sasha Boisvert. Unfortunately, that one gets through Jesper Wallstedt. It's power play goal. I mean, we shouldn't have taken the penalty. You would like to have a save there, but it is a partial break. Nothing you can do. All right, boys, under 2 minutes remaining. We need something to happen quick. We're going to have the extra attacker next time we go up the ice, but obviously that's a double-edged sword. Okay, Wallinder up to Bedard. Let's get the big boys out there. Here we go. Oh, it's offside. They brought the face-off back. Oh, come on. Bedard. We took a penalty. Cool. Oh my God. I can't do it. I'm exiting this game. We lost. We drop game 2, 5-3 to Vancouver. Let us see what game 3 has in store on home ice. Period number 1, Texier gets the lone goal. Our team is so much better than theirs. Period number 2, we go down 2-0. And period 3, yeah. We drop game 3 to Vancouver 4-1. After 1, it's scoreless. After 2, it's scoreless. And let's just sim our way through the third period here. Dakota Joshua scores, and we trail 1-0. Under 10 remaining in the third period. Under 5. Yeah, we're gonna lose this series, aren't we? 3-0. And find ourselves on the brink of elimination in the second round. Let's see what game 5's got in store for us. We need, oh my God, we need to win 3. After 1, it's scoreless. After 2, we have a big second period. Nikishin, Preston, and Elifson. Our defensemen are getting it done at least. We are up 4-1 heading into the third. We take game 5, 5-3, and keep our slim chances alive against Vancouver. We are now heading into game 6. Let's see what happens here. Period 1 was absolutely wild, but we do find ourselves behind 3-2. Let's see what happens in the second period. We are down 4-2. We need a miracle. 5-2. We're gonna drop this to Vancouver, and we are out. We end up losing 6-2 and are taken out in the second round by the Vancouver Canucks. This team just doesn't have what it takes. They don't. The big boys better have showed up. Let's take a look at our point distribution here. I swear to God. Laurikainen was fantastic. Bedard was great. 7 goals in 12 games is fantastic. Kyle Connor with 0 goals in 12 games. I don't care that he had 7 assists. Dude is making, what, 10 million? Come on, dude. We are exactly like the Leafs right now. The big guys disappear as soon as the playoffs come around. I swear to God, if Wallstedt, I'm actually okay with that because watching the games, he stood on his head. Numbers don't necessarily tell the whole story there. I can't believe that I'm already threatening to talk rebuild with this team, but boys, they better figure something out because we have too many high-paid players to be doing this poorly. Let's see who takes the cup home this year. This is going to be our busiest offseason yet, I think. And the Hurricanes are your cup champs in 5 over the Canucks. Let's take a look at the awards before we end today's episode. Art Ross and the Hart go to McDavid. Adam Fox takes home the Norris. Lady Bean goes to Mitch Marner. Calder goes to another P. Laine, not the one you're thinking of, on Philadelphia. Aho takes home the Conn Smythe. Vesna goes to Dustin Wolf. He also gets to Jennings. Carlo takes home the Masterton. For the 3rd straight year, Halischuk on Calgary gets to Jack Adams. That is nuts. And the Selke for 4 straight years goes to its proper owner, Alex Barkov. McDavid's going to get the Lindsay, and Matthews the Rocket. This team is extremely disappointing. We have a ton of money committed for a long period of time. I don't know how we're going to fix this, but right now it seems like we're just lighting money on fire. We've got a pissed general manager right here, and you better believe next episode there are some major changes coming. If you guys did stick around to the end, I appreciate you very much. If you're enjoying the series, let me know in the comments down below. Best way to show it is by liking and subscribing if you haven't already. I appreciate each and every one of you, and we will see you next time.